Well, congratulations. You were all the demographic. 40-year-old plus male that wants to get stronger. That is starting strength. Every now and then we get one gal in here, but no, that's cool. The thing I always want people to zoom out, and you probably heard me talk about this before, but I think it's important when you really take your training seriously, is like the why behind it. And it's, as I get older, I get weaker. I'm about to have my first child in October, and I've always used this illustration, and now it kind of rings home a little bit more, but like, a baby's born. I have 16 nieces and nephews on my family side alone. You watch it, all of a sudden it can crawl, and then mom's holding it like this, and then it's walking and it's falling, and then you come home for Thanksgiving a year later and the baby's running around the house, and then it's this tall. Then you start making uncle jokes like, oh man, you're gonna be as tall as me soon. And they're getting stronger and stronger and stronger as they grow up. All y'all kids you've seen this happen. What you've also seen happen is the other side of it, right? So you grow up, and all of us have kind of lived through this, late 30s here, everyone else 40 plus, where it's like, hey, everything feels good, I'm strong, I'm active, I work out maybe, I'm doing different things, and then all of a sudden, like, things kind of start to go the other way. And we really see it now as early as our 30s. And the reason is just, 2024, everyone's behind a computer, they're sitting a lot, and so they start to atrophy, and stuff starts to hurt. And when stuff hurts, people do less things, right? So, hey, I used to ride a bike and run mountain trails, but my back hurts. I'm going to skip that today. You start being less active. You start speeding up the atrophy. 40s, you really see a decline. Everyone comments how, oh, you'll understand one day when you're my age. I can't do this anymore. 50s and then 60s, it's like rapid. Sorry, Rick, but it's rapid, right? And if you think of like your mother or your grandmother, you go home, she's pulling the turkey out of the oven, putting it on the table, cracking funny Irish Italian jokes. You go back again, you notice there's a cane in the corner. You go back again, she's on a walker. And then my grandmother, last thing I remember seeing her is she's sitting in a wheelchair, my dad's feeding her, right? Like the roles totally reversed. There are things we can't control, cancer, certain diseases, the government, right? There's some stuff we don't have control over, but there are things we can, and our physical strength is absolutely one of those things. So I give you this, hey look, babies get strong, and then it's really gloomy down here, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can maintain physical strength into your 80s. Starting Strength just posted a great video this week of a 91-year-old lady in Boise, Idaho, I think deadlifting 180 or something like that. And my gym in California, our oldest lifter is 88 now. She's been lifting since she was 85, Corky. She can deadlift 150 pounds. My mother, I always talk about my mother. She's 65. She'll be 66 on Monday. And, she's a 250-pound deadlifter. So there's definitely ways to do this, and that's kind of what we're here to. But I just bring that up because training can get frustrating. You're making all this progress, and then you stop making progress. And it's like, oh, man, why am I doing this? My deadlift's stuck at 315. But hey, even if your deadlift's stuck at 315 for the rest of your life, you're maintaining that ability to deadlift 315 pounds. And so a basic goal I set for every new lifter is, hey, we want to squat and deadlift our body weight, right? And some of you guys that have been training, you're like, yeah, whatever. But for a lot of people, that's huge. And like for 5, right? And then boom, we can do that, and now we build. And if you can get to the point where you can deadlift, body weight and a half for a set of 5, you're not going to set any records. No one's going to look at you and be like, wow, this is amazing. But you're going to be able to control your own body and do all that kind of stuff. The way we approach it is 2 things, training versus exercise, right? So a lot of people exercise, and when I say exercise, I mean they come to a gym, right? They go to Crunch, they go to Planet Fitness, whatever, and they walk in and they go after work and they put down their gym bag and they go get on the treadmill for 10 minutes and then they come over here to the fly machine and they rotate through all this different stuff. The benefit of the exercise is for today. I got hot and sweaty, I elevated my heart rate, I did some stuff, I burned some calories, I ate this many jelly donuts for breakfast, I ran around the gym for this many calories, boom, here's my body weight. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? The exercise is a good thing, heart health, right, all that stuff. But training is like a plan. It's like strategic. Like, hey, I am here for one reason, and it is to get stronger. And you get stronger by doing something, recovering from that thing, and then doing it again. So in our line of what we're doing is we're saying, hey, I want my whole body stronger. I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder. I'm not trying to be a power lifter. I'm trying to have longevity. So the squat, the bench press, the press, and the deadlift, call those the big four, train all of you at one time. Each time you do it, you train the whole body. So we kind of find out, hey, where's Darren at with the squat? How much can he do? Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. He can only do 65 pounds, whatever. Boom, we apply that stress to Darren. He goes home, he eats chow, he goes to sleep, and he comes back to the gym 2 days later. And instead of squatting 65, we squat 70. Comes back 2 days later, 75, right? We're leveraging something called the stress recovery adaptation cycle. I apply a stress, I go home and I recover, and now I'm a little bit stronger. Most people don't know this occurs, especially like you Army guys. You go into the gym, it's like the same corporal benching 225 for a set of 6 every time. Then he looks over at, the staff sergeant, the gunny, or the captain doing 300. He's like, I think I can do that. I've been crushing 225, and boom, he gets stapled, right? And they just have no concept of, hey, these small incremental jumps is what we're after. Anyone that's done any kind of other training, like in swimming, in sprinting and running, they understand, like, hey, I can't just go run a marathon, right? I run 2 miles. I get better at running 2 miles. Then I run 3 miles. Then I have a 6-mile run, right? And they build up over time. That's the same process that we want to have in this style of lifting. So learning how to do it correctly is super important. At the same time, this is not rocket science. Even if you're brand new, like, you're going to leave today and be like, I know how to squat. It is not the hardest thing in the world. And so the number one thing that I see across, teaching starting strength for 10 years now is the consistency of lifters, right? Like your story, surgery story, whatever it is, it's like, hey, I found the book in 2012. I trained for a year. Life happened, had a baby, didn't lift for 9 months, gained 20 pounds, came back into it, tore my ACL, took 4 months off. There's always going to be something. And we'll talk through injury management later. But what I would encourage you today is, like, once you get these tools, is always go to the gym, right? And it sounds so like cliche, like always show up, but seriously, find a way. If you care about, like, not being the grandma getting fed in a wheelchair, you got to train at least twice a week. And life can get crazy, but you got to go train. I've had days right now where it's like, man, I don't have an hour and a half to go in and get this awesome workout in. I'm going to come in, I'm going to squat only, and I'm going to walk out. But doing something maintains the strength. And once you get your strength up, less is kind of more, right? So, like, once you're strong, hey, I can come into the gym and squat, 365 for 3 sets of 5. That's pretty stressful, right? My heart rate's elevated. My heart's, beating. And so, like, the stronger you get, the stronger you are, the harder it is to get stronger, but almost the easier in terms of time in the gym it is to maintain the strength. Because if I'm brand new, then I'm only squatting 85 pounds. Like, that's not a ton of weight, compared to my body weight. So I got to come into the gym 3 days a week, boom, to make this stuff happen. But if I've been training for 5 years and I'm strong, hey, let me come into the gym, do 3 super hard sets, and get out of here, and I'll be good. So just understand, like, the why behind it, and then be consistent.